Hello, everyone. Dr. Mandell here with you. Hopefully, you're having a pleasant day or night. I want to say welcome to everyone out there. Hopefully, that this program right here is going to make a big difference for those people who have had any kind of throat problem, chronic cold, sore throat, difficulty swallowing. I really want to go through these great remedies about salt water. I think this is really, really important. We've been told by our mothers, our fathers, our aunties who watch over us and say, you need to gargle if you're having a sore throat, if you're having a problem in the gum, and let's explain why. Let's go through this real simple. I think this is a great a program and information that everyone should really understand. It's salt water. It's that easy. The cheapest cure and amazing remedy that can really help you tremendously, even if you do not have symptoms. Okay, and I'm going to share that with you. Okay, let's move right ahead. If we look here, we're looking at the typical sore throat. Everyone says, hey, you got the sore throat. What is going on here? Well, it's either some type of pathogen, usually I would say more of a virus, which is a common cold. Bacteria is quite common, like strep throat, but a virus is generally more commonly known as a sore throat. There's not a whole lot we can really do for that. I want to say hello to my chatters out there. Thank you for being here. But let's talk about this sore throat. What do we do with this? I mean, is this something that, we're going to take antibiotics? No, I just want to let you know that antibiotics only work on bacteria. Most conditions to a sore throat are viral, which is the common cold. And salt water is an amazing miracle for a sore throat. So let's go on to here. Here we're looking at a sore throat. This is a bacteria. And here, as you can see, by using the salt water, which I'll explain to you in just a second, the best way to do it, the bacteria die as they lose water by osmosis. And you're saying, well, what is osmosis? Now, a lot of people out there who know a little bit about science may know about osmosis. So my job is, let's go ahead and teach you what osmosis is. Okay, if you look here, it's diffusion of water across a semi-permeable membrane from a weak solution to a strong solution. So generally what we're looking at here, we're looking at osmosis. This occurs when a solvent moves from an area of a higher concentration to an area of a lower concentration to attain equilibrium. Now, your throat gets sore when you get this bacteria or this pathogen or this virus, and it decides to take up space there. And because the salt water is a higher concentration, the sodium in it passes through the tissue membranes in your throat where the fluid is in a lower concentration. So the sodium creates an environment that is not really suitable for that bacteria, and this osmosis also helps flush the fluid out, which builds up due to the infection. It actually dehydrates the bacteria's environment. Now, when I say it dehydrates it, imagine you got water on the floor. So what do people do? Like if you're in a restaurant, what do? They take a whole bunch of salt and they put it on the floor. So what happens is that water absorbs into the sodium. The water kind of like disintegrates. That's what it does. So in other words, as you get the swelling in there, the salt water, by gargling with it, it actually takes all that fluid and draws it out. It's the fluid that causes the swelling, the fluid that causes the difficulty of swallowing and actually aids in the infection. So it's kind of, if you take the content out of the cells, those cells can't really survive. That's the whole idea of killing the pathogens with salt water. Now, let's look at what do we do here. The typical thing is 1 cup of water to about a half a teaspoon of salt. I like to say half a teaspoon is good. Some people like maybe 3/4 or maybe even up to a full teaspoon, but always less better than more, because you don't want to overkill yourself with too much salt. Obviously, I like salt to be mixed in a warm water. Why? Because it helps mix the sodium chloride with it. Gargle with a sore throat, obviously, several times a day. There is no exact way, but I would do it. If it was me, I'd do it every couple of hours. I wouldn't even wait. I would just do it around the clock. And you can just go through that glass and just do it several times. Keep it in your mouth, gargle, and spit it out, and you'll get the hang of it. Now, The next thing here is gingivitis. Gingivitis is inflammation of the gums. Very, very common to periodontal disease. People who don't floss right, or maybe don't brush correctly, or eat a lot of sugar, or you have food that just sits up in there or gets stuck in the tooth. Gingivitis is really, really good. It helps, that salt water helps burn out that gingivitis. So if you got bleeding or swollen gums and you're freaking out, you're saying, wow, what do I do? I'm in a different country. I'm not around. Where do I go? Start gargling with salt water, because that can actually kill the bacterial infection. It will reduce the inflammation, will take the swelling out, and will really help you in the survival mode. I think that's an excellent thing. The next thing here is just fresh breath. This is what I tell people out there. Even though you don't have symptoms of any pain or any problem, well, how about you just keep the flora, you just keep the which I'll talk about, the acidity, but you keep it alkaline. In other words, just gargling with salt water as a palliative can prevent significant problems. It helps cleanse the mouth. It helps kill the invading microbes. It helps disinfect. In other words, if you got food stuck between your teeth that may spell some type of problem in the future, it helps rinse it away. It actually takes out the buildup on the tongue, because when the tongue starts changing a little bit colors and getting plaquing in there from bacteria, that can be a tip that can actually lead to tooth decay and other problems like that. So here is the old canker sore. The canker sore, quite common. This is not herpes simplex 1. This is not the herpes virus. This is a canker sore, and primarily with these, this is where we kind of get an ulceration in the cheek, or this can be due to certain foods or spicy foods, or even during menstruation or hormonal fluctuations in females. This is a great remedy for the canker sore. It can really help it, probably better than anything out in any drugstore. Cheap and very, very effective. Next thing that commonly comes out is phlegm. People are always kind of get that drip of phlegm. You can never get rid of it. Phlegm is, by the way, I want to throw a little side note. Ginger. Now, raw ginger is the best, but if you know, ginger capsules, ginger tea is really good. It just socks away phlegm. But if you're having like phlegm, or kind of like running down the nose, and you're gargling, and that salt gets back into the membranes of the throat and potentially makes its way up, or actually comes down, it can really help a lot with chronic phlegm. I just wanted to throw that out at you, because very few people understand that. The alkaline acidity chart shows us that the more alkaline we are, the healthier we are. Obviously, when we eat proteins and carbohydrates and sugars and processed foods, our body becomes more acidic. In an acidic environment, cancer, bacteria, pathogens survive. So the perspective of increasing sodium chloride or salt, or gargling with salt, is that we're bringing the body more into an alkaline environment, which inhibits those microbes that grow. So just as a palliative, this is a very important thing, because everything works on the acidity-alkalinity balance. The more foods that you eat, for example, your vegetables and not the processed foods and not the sugars, those will bring you more into an alkaline. People talk about alkaline water. Well, that's another topic we'll talk about. But alkaline environment is extremely important when it comes down to keeping your health really at its best. We look here, the old swollen throat. You can look here, these patches back here. The streptococcus is common for this. People who get strep throat, people are more prone to strep throat. Gargle salt water. I can't tell you how many millions of people this can help if you get it early. Salt, as I said, it just kills those microbes. It just sucks the fluid out, and it prevents it from continuing to grow. It sets up a different environment. But if you get to this too late, it may not work. So don't quote me, and don't say Dr. Mandell says, you know, anyone who has strep throat, I never need antibiotics. But you really want to get to this early, because this can definitely help you extremely much. You talk about coughing. If you got that kind of dry cough, this is something that's also very, very, very good. That dry cough, like that itch, that tickle, salt water is excellent for that too. Now, why did I put this picture here? I don't think anyone out there is going to want to eat this apple with those nails sticking out. So basically what this picture really states to you is that difficulty swallowing. In other words, it hurts to swallow. It could come from a sore throat, from strep throat, can come from a dry throat. Salt water, excellent. A miracle worker for difficulty swallowing. Now you're saying, well, how often would I do it? You'll know your body. It's not going to hurt you. Don't swallow it, okay? But, actually after, like slippery elm, I love for sore throat. Excellent. Chamomile tea is just, the soothing is good. But slippery elm is excellent. Peppermint, and you can know certain lozenges, even with zinc. I think zinc is a great thing to have all the time when it comes to this, because zinc is a healer. It actually helps kill the microbes as well. We're looking at tonsillitis. Pretty much you can see here the tonsillitis doesn't look too good there. It doesn't look healthy. We start getting swelling back in there, but gargle, gargle, gargle. This is like a miracle worker here. And the last one I'm going to mention to you is anytime you have a problem with a tooth problem. This particularly here says wisdom teeth because sometimes those get more impacted, more infected. What we're doing here is we're shrinking. We're doing the osmosis. We're taking the swelling, taking the fluid out, and we're really allowing our body to take away that inflammation, because it's the puffiness, it's the swellingness around the pulp, around the tooth that actually causes that pain, that throbbing. And there's nothing worse than having throbbing when it comes down to infections and so forth. So pretty much, I'm happy, I'm proud of myself. I went through this pretty quick, not that much time, but I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Share this video. It's really helpful. I promise you. Share it on your social media. I ask if you are a new viewer here, which many of you are, as we are going live here, I ask you to subscribe. I have great cutting edge nutrition on my channel, great self-help videos, probably the most when it comes down to spinal. I'm a chiropractor, background in nutrition, and I just love to see people get well naturally, save you money, save you time from going to the doctors. It's really, I want to say blessings to everyone out there, particularly all the feedback I get of people who have responded well to these kind of videos, because it's all about self-help. And if we can become proactive and learn and teach our family and do the right things, we can really be way up ahead of the game. Check out my channel, Motivational Doc, on Facebook, and leave your comments below. I'm sure many people are going to comment back to you. Most important, make it a great day, and we'll be back with you real soon. Bye-bye now.